Here is the official Hearthstone card tier list. We're gonna go through every single card. First up is Ragnaros. Ragnaros was the guy on top all the way back in Hearthstone Classic, and he is definitely no longer really played anymore because my god, he just got power crept. But the voice line, the animations, fire be purged, easy A tier. Next we have Knife Juggler with his stupid face and his stupid ability that would kill all my minions and make me lose the game, F tier. Next we got Wisp. Now Wisp doesn't come often, but when it does, it's played for 0 mana, which is broken, and then your opponent is shriveling in fear, and you basically won the game once this card is already played, B tier. Next we have Hogger, which did not really see any play, but it was the first legendary that I pulled from a Hearthstone pack, S tier. Penflinger was a card that was loved by everyone. As soon as you saw it played, you're like, my god, I can't wait to hear that voice line over and over again, and it was played so much that the Hearthstone developers decided to nerf it so other cards could have a chance in some decks. Easy B tier. Hit Snake was seen so often because people knew that I was scared of snakes, so they would use him against me, and therefore I could not play the game because I could not look at the screen because snakes are scary, D tier. Untapped potential is an unrealistic goal that Hearthstone has put onto all of its players because you get something from doing nothing, and that is not true in the real world. It is a D tier. Agatha's scheme showed me that patience is a virtue because the longer you wait, the better something will be, and that's why this card is an A tier. Blur is a perfect representation over the last couple of years because of COVID. I don't remember anything. My life has been a blur, B tier. We're gonna go through all the giants because there's so many of them. Flesh Giant can suck it, F tier. Frost Giant, I don't think I saw this card played once, so I'm just gonna put it over here. Sea Giant, I mean, it had its time and it was Hall of Famed. I don't think it was that bad. Probably a C tier. You see what I did there? It's a Sea Giant. It's going into the C tier. See, I'm funny, laugh. Snow Fury Giant, I don't think I saw play either. Maybe in some kind of wild deck, but who plays wild? So we're just gonna move that over next to Frost Giants. Arcane Giant could be played by every single class, and that's why I kind of liked it. It was just, you know, available for everyone, and inclusion is a really nice thing to have. So S tier. Clockwork Giant doesn't really do much unless your opponent has a lot of cards, and relying on someone else is not usually a good thing, so this is a D tier. Ursula Giant, I mean, sure, it's cool, but it's not that flashy, and it also looks super stupid, C tier. Now we go to the Golden Boys, which I call Mountain Giant and Molten Giant. These two are the angels for Hearthstone Classic, and they were so fun to play with until they were wrongfully moved into the Hall of Fame, and because of that reason they go above S tier. Iron Deep Trog has caused me more pain and suffering than any other Hearthstone card that's ever been released, and it probably will continue giving me more pain and suffering as it's continued in the standard formats, easy F tier. Heart Creeper is a card that is looked upon as the most balanced card in Hearthstone history. It just feels so nice to play with and against, and I feel like this is the epitome of Hearthstone card design, and that's why it's going in the A tier. Snowfall Guardian makes me want to uninstall Hearthstone because of its obnoxious effect that they can keep repeating with that stupid macabre bird as well. This goes below F tier. Cornelius Rome was supposed to be the best card in United and Stormwind until we realized that there was a bunch of other obnoxious cards, but it's still the best card in my heart from that expansion, which is why it's going in the A tier. Yogg Saron is the perfect example of a card that is just, what is even going on, and am I going to win or lose this game? And it showcases everything about my life that I have no idea what's going on, easy S tier. Two-Face Investor is a perfect example of what a digital card game can do. It either makes you extremely upset or extremely happy, and isn't that the joy of Hearthstone? C tier. Wildheart Guff might be the most broken card I've ever seen in the history of Hearthstone. Not only do you get 20 mana, which is double the amount of mana that I get, but you also can gain a mana crystal, draw a card, gain 5 armor for 5 mana? Blizzard, what are we even doing here? Thank God Microsoft bought this company, but when I get to play this card, all of this makes total sense, and I totally agree with the decision for Blizzard to make this card, so that's why it's an easy S tier. Overgrowth is one of those cards that my opponent always has on turn 4 and I never have on turn 4, and that's why it's an F tier card. Reno Jackson was introduced so long ago, and I still don't understand his voice line compared to his effect, because he says we're gonna be rich, but what does that have to do with healing my hero all the way up to full? F tier. Undertaker is a card that completely dominated the metagame all the way back in Curse of Naxxramas, and you would virtually see this guy every single game. I know what you're thinking, oh my god, thank God they nerfed him, but he was actually a really nice guy. When I got to meet his family, I couldn't believe how great of a guy he actually was, so he's gonna go in the B tier. I can't forget about everybody's favorite card, Ticketus. People wanted a golden version of this. People loved playing against it. When your cards got discarded from your deck, you were overjoyed with excitement. I mean, it is just such an awesome card, and I love that the community just fell in love with it because it's so cool. B tier. Ziliax is the perfect combination of unity, precision, and perfection, and it's getting its own tier for perfection. We will now be going through the rest of the Hearthstone cards in speed-like fashion, so make sure you can catch up because we're gonna go super fast. Electro right, more like Electro wrong, C tier. Faceless Rager, which makes 0 sense because I can see their face right there, F tier. See, Guidance has to be the most appropriately named Hearthstone card of all time because if you're playing this card, you should seek Guidance, S tier. I have never hated a card more than I've hated Cloak of Shadows. This singular card makes me want to not play Hearthstone for the longest period of time. Every time I see it played against me, I get into a fit of rage. My wife has left me, my kids are gone, my parents won't talk to me, but it's okay. I think I'm gonna be like a B tier. Kazakhstan is definitely a polarizing card. A lot of people don't like this card because they feel like Duels treasure shouldn't be in the game, but on the complete flip side, a lot of people like this card because, well, it's super fun and it brings a lot of spice. But what do I think of the card? Baku the Moon Eater has to be the most consistent legendary ever released into Hearthstone. It has a start of a game effect that makes your hero power extremely good, and that means that a lot of the games are going to feel really similar because they're going to spam their hero power button the whole game. Now, does that mean this card deserves a low rating on the tier list because of this? Absolutely, F tier. Inner Demon really speaks to me as a card because this is the exact thing that I want to do when my opponent plays some nonsense in front of me and I lose the game because of it. Inner Demon is an A tier card. Rat King, in my opinion, is one of the best designed legendaries we've seen in a very long time. It has a really cool effect, you can play around it, and it leads to a lot more exciting Hearthstone games than just me dying from hand. It's also what they called me back in high school, S tier. Leroy Jenkins created a strategy that revolved around trying to defeat your opponent in one turn without requiring any cards on the board. Fighting for board control in battles between minions makes an overall game of Hearthstone more fun and compelling, but taking 20 plus damage in one turn is not particularly fun or interactive. And for that copy pasta alone, it's going in the S plus category. Patches the Pirate is easily the best one cost minion we've ever seen, and in its prime, it was used in every single Hearthstone deck imaginable because it was just a very good card, which makes me irrationally upset because during my prime, I was playing League of Legends, F tier. All right, this actually isn't a meme, I swear to God, but I think Acolyte of Pain is my favorite card ever printed. The more I look at Hearthstone cards, the more I realize how great of a card this was at the time, and I still think it would be played in the current Hearthstone format. This card has a lot of counterplay, it has a lot of synergistic ways to deal with it, and it leads to the players having a lot of interaction between whether or not they kill this card or let your opponent take the extra card draw. Really like this card, S tier. And yeah, that's every single Hearthstone card ever made. Don't even disagree with me in the comments. I literally looked through multiple sources. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot one. Bolted Ogre is the only minion we can look at and say, wow, that's some great stats for the cost, and that's why it's easily going into its own category. Triple S tier, best minion in the world. Thank you for watching.